So this is the final part of my real estate series on how real estate agents earn monies with Web3. If you haven't been following the series, I have the first and second parts that were released sometime last month. You should definitely check them out in order to understand what I have discussed thus far. So grab your pen and notepads and let's get right into the video. Hi everyone, you're welcome to another episode of my real estate series. Call me Mo. I am a business owner and share content related to business, finance, and general money tips through literature, art, and music. If you are new here, you're welcome. If you are returning, thank you so very much for your kind gesture and all of the support. Before I get right into today's video, I'd like to share with you a quick disclaimer. Please note that the information I shared here today is solely for educational purposes and should neither be treated as business, finance, advertisement, nor legal advice. Thank you so very much. You're welcome back. So in my part 2 of this series, I did mention that in the part 3, I was going to mention, or I was going to expatiate on the subtopics of NFTs for property ownerships, decentralized financing, smart contracts, and land ownership within the Web3 space. I'm also going to talk about platforms that you could decide to sign up with in order to own or operate a real estate transaction or a real estate property within the Web3 space. I am particularly excited about this topic because I see the difference and the variance it has with the physical or traditional real estate transactions. I particularly like the fact that it is a space where real estate transactions can be conducted within the space of minutes without you having to wonder or having to be in fear of the type of transactions that you are doing. I also like the element of trust because of the way the smart contracts are structured, and particularly because of the topic or the aspect of immutability. Even though at a point I did have an issue with immutability, but I now understand it better because I believe that if you are the person who wants to get into a transaction, and you are serious about finalizing that transaction, you won't have to be going back and forth. It will be easier for you to sign contracts within the blockchain, and you wouldn't have to change your mind on the long run, except only if there are policy changes. And I do believe that technology will make, provisions for such occurrences. I also like the aspect of the decentralized financing. You could have easy peer-to-peer transfer of funds when a property transaction has been finalized. And I also like the way smart contracts are modeled. All you need to do is to sign your contract within your wallet once a contract or a transaction has gone through. I like the fact that ownership or deed or title deed or ownership of every real estate is based on your NFTs. So you can mint a part of your NFTs or the part of that property as an NFT in order to show ownership. And when you are able to mint, that goes directly into your wallet. There are so many things that this space does offer. And I'm sure a number of us might be wondering, okay, even if I want to be, or if I happen to be a real estate agent, how do I fit in this space, particularly in consideration of the fact that technology or real estate transactions within the Web3 space is intended to eliminate the occurrence of several chains in transactions. So let me put it in a context in which we all understand. In traditional real estate transactions, it is common to have a chain in agency. Now, in some parts of the world, the chain in agency is always minimal, but in some other parts of the world, you might have several chains when you have to deal with real estate transactions. Now, what decentralization or the technology under transactions under Web3, real estate transaction under Web3 does now is to eliminate third parties as quickly and as much as possible. So it is eliminating third parties within the value chain or persons who happen to be service or value providers within the value chain of real estate technology or real estate transactions. And it does not just eliminate individuals, it also eliminates corporations and financiers because of the DeFi or the decentralized financing system. I like the fact that it limits the number of persons who are a part of a transaction to a maximum of 3, which makes the whole process easier. parties or buyers or sellers of real estate can easily meet on the blockchain, sell properties, and also make some money. Now, the question on the heart of some of us might be that what happens to I, who happens to be a real estate agent, and I do not own properties within this field? How do I earn within this field? How you earn is pretty simple, and I'm just going to tell you a few things that you could do. Please note that this is not intended to be a sort of advice, but it's something that you could try out. One, it could be that you could decide to work for an organization that own properties within the Web3. Now, properties within the Web3 can come in different forms, and you can sell them or even rent them out or lease them in different forms. There are properties that are commercialized, there are properties that are event centers, there are properties that are for gaming events. There are even some that are owned by people who meet them and then set up buildings within the Web3 space. So if you happen to know people, or you happen to be a part of a community of persons who own properties within that space, not everybody has the time for Web3. They might also be handling the real world transactions in relation to real estate. So you might be that person who might say, I do have the expertise or the blockchain technology knowledge to be able to handle everything that this transaction, holds in this space. Don't also forget that people might want to handle their transactions themselves because wallets are involved, and people want to be very careful with the way their wallets or their crypto wallets are handled. But it's something that you could decide to do, particularly if you understand the ethics of the business. You also understand what you need to do, because this whole space is governed largely by the blockchain technology. And that's the fastest way in which you can earn. Another thing is that if you have the funds, the cryptocurrencies, to buy properties within the sphere or within the apps or companies that sell within the Web3 space, you could decide to buy properties, develop them yourselves, and you could also decide to sell, become a property owner in there, and you could definitely earn yourself some good money. I do like the fact that this aspect of this business is something that is really new, and it is also really disruptive. So it gives you reasons to want to just surf. You want to also experience it, but it's something that you definitely would enjoy doing. So I hope I have covered the whole subject of land ownership, NFTs, decentralized financing, and smart contracts within this little time that I had. So just for me to reinforce or to restate everything I had said about land ownership, you could decide to own land as an investor within the Web3 space, and there are platforms that you could decide to join. The Central Land, or even certain games that you can play, like the Sandbox and also the Metaverse, can allow you own properties. All you need to do is to understand the terms and conditions, have your wallet, your crypto wallets connected to those platforms, and you can buy properties on there. With NFTs are ways in which they are tokens that help you identify ownership. So in real estate transactions in the traditional sense, in order for you to be able to show that you own a particular property, you have to show a title deed. Now NFTs are ways for you to show that you own certain assets. So what you do with real estate with NFTs is to mint a particular aspect of real estate that has been sold to you within the Web3, and that would show, or in a way register within the blockchain technology, that transaction has been completed in your favor. But for you to complete those transactions, you also have to connect your wallet. Transactions or contracts are signed with the wallet or through the wallet, and they always would show on different verification platforms like Utroscan and a number of others. Another thing with Web3 property transactions is decentralized financing. So you get to have people who are willing to buy your property, and usually transactions are usually based on a peer-to-peer transfer basis. So for instance, you have someone who wants to buy a portion of your real estate, and you have agreed on pricing and everything. What happens is that property is transferred, or let's say you have an NFT on a particular portion of real estate and somebody decides to buy that portion in which you own. All you need to do is to sell, and once that sale is completed, the NFT related to that title is transferred to the person, and then you're able to sign via your wallet. Now the centralized aspect of it is that you have an easy way to have a transfer of monies through peer-to-peer transfers, and you have some instances where people also lease, or let's say lend monies on the platform, so that if you don't have some monies, you can use your NFTs as collateral. I would cover that in another topic totally. Now, I also like the aspect of the smart contracts. I like that the smart contracts are easy to execute. All you need to do is to execute within your wallet, and you are good to go. And these transactions and the details of these transactions show on the blockchain or all of these verification platforms within a matter of minutes. And also, that largely depends on the network that you decide to use. I also have to mention that when you're minting your NFTs, minting of your NFTs could come in a fee depending on the kind of network you're using. You could decide to use Ethereum, you could decide to use the base network. Whatever network you use, they also come with their terms and conditions. So you also want to be sure that you are abreast with the terms and conditions of the networks available for you. Now, what are the things that you want to note when you decide to go into real estate transactions within the Web3 space? One thing is safety and privacy. It is important that you note that because this space is relatively new and it is highly disruptive, it also gives room for a lot of, bad actors. So you want to be sure that your wallet details are adequately kept secret. You do not share anything private related to your wallet with anybody you are not sure of, because the moment someone gets the details or the privacy keys of your wallet, forget it, you might lose all the monies you have in your wallet, and you might not be able to trace them or trace such monies or even NFTs or valuables that you might have in your wallet. So you want to be sure that you are properly secure, you have the right wallet that protects you within that space. And you also want to be sure that whoever comes to you, you do a background check. Sometimes people would say they are what they are not. So you want to be sure that they are really what they are. And I like the fact that there are verification platforms that can help you to verify the addresses or the type of transactions that certain addresses have carried on the blockchain. So you want to also try that. And then if you decide to now go fully, once you understand the subject of privacy, you also want to know that you have the required equipment to function well in this space. You want to have your wallet, your crypto wallet. You also want to have a functioning computer or a system that works really well, internet connection. You want to have your phone or your wallet or whatever that you have and you think that can work within that space. I hope I've been able to cover all of this. I would cover other topics on this in the nearest future, but I'm hoping that you did find value in this space, and I'm hoping that you'll also try this out. Let's make this money together within the Web3 space. There you have it. So if you are that person who is looking into getting into the real estate space, I'd say consider understanding how real estate now works within the Web3 space, and also what technology has to offer for us all in this field. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.